This is a capsule, and in most games, this is basically what you're controlling. Your favourite character, Mario, Master Chief, whoever it might be, they might look complicated, but physically, they're usually something much simpler like this. The model and the animations are basically just being moved around with it. But in games like Fall Guys and in Gang Beasts or Human Fall Flat, it works a little bit differently. So instead of one simple collider, the character's made up of lots of physical joints which are connected to each other, and those joints have forces that are applied to them which keeps the character upright, hopefully balanced, and ideally able to walk. Which means that Blort is no longer being controlled by a singular capsule, he's going to have to physically control his own stupid body. So how is all of this being done? Well, underneath Blort, I still have one simple physics object that's doing basically all of the movement, and at the base of the character is a sphere collider, and when I want Blort to move, this is what I apply the movement force to. But obviously if I just attach loads of physics joints to that, Blort immediately becomes completely useless. So the main body is just constantly trying to rotate back to an upright position, and I'm using that rotational drive on the joint with a pretty high force, so physics can knock him around, but he's consistently fighting to stand back up. Each joint will use a rotational slurp drive to help pull him back upright. But standing upright doesn't really help if none of the limbs know what they're actually supposed to be doing. So I've actually got a second, completely animated version of Blort that you will never see. This one plays completely normal animations, and every limb on the physics Blort has a script that looks at maximum. So the animation isn't directly moving Blort, but it's actually just telling every joint, you should probably be here. The joints then try to match that using forces, and everything that happens in between those 2 points is physics. So now technically I had a functioning active Ragdoll controller, which obviously meant I needed to build something completely unnecessary around it. So I started designing a level around the fact that it was all going to be physics-based objects, and the fact that I wanted Blort to be interactable with every single one of those things. And somehow, despite spending all the time trying to make him balanced, the best part is still watching him completely fail to do that. So that's why I'm making like a tiny obstacle course game, where the biggest obstacle is Blort's own skeleton. So I began working on 3 basic physics-based objects in which I could use to deter Blort from completing this obstacle course. So I firstly made a bouncing trampoline because I thought very unpredictable they can be, and just applying a force in any direction with this character can create some unprecedented results. So yeah, and then I worked on a turret which can fire physics-based pellets at you, which will either knock you out or just kind of fuck you up as you're going along. And then lastly, I worked on some falling rocks, which they just basically spawn randomly within 3 points, and then those rocks are just physics spheres, which are very heavy, which can knock you out. Then I decided to give Blort some new textures because I decided that he deserved to look pretty. And I also decided this time I'm going to give him a hat, because, well, he deserves a hat. And then lastly, I decided to work on a small timer, so then that way you could track how quickly you're completing this obstacle course. I'm probably not going to be continuing with this specific project much further, because it did what I wanted it to do, which was to basically give me an excuse to learn and understand active Ragdoll controllers. But I'm definitely not done with active Ragdolls. Blort Out for Blood is going to use the same kind of system for the enemies, which means the enemy Blorts can get knocked around, you know, fall over, recover, and just generally interact with the world within a much, more physical way. But since I've been working on that as well, here's a little bit more of that.
I got some breaking news for you tonight, folks. The leader of the Blort Out has escaped police custody and is believed to be searching for the last remaining Blort burger. Authorities are advising the residents stay the hell inside, lock your doors, and avoid any Blort Out activity in this area. Several armed members have already been spotted across the city, and police are now considering the burger a significant item of interest. Yeah, the burger. Now, we'll have more on this story as it develops. But anyways, stay blurry.